Well, 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 look what the cat dragged in. Welcome back to Toddy Walnut's channel. And I decided I'm going to record one more video before the year is over. And the New Year's is going to be in a couple of days. I do have quite a few VHS that I would like to share that I picked up recently over the past month, because all these Dean Martin tapes I picked up about a month ago and I completely forgot to show those. And I've recently picked up some more Disney stuff and some more kind of miscellaneous titles over here on VHS. Titles that I picked up very cheap but were in excellent condition, so I kind of wanted to save those. What I mean by save is take those from the thrift shops, slap them in plastic, keep them in my collection in very good condition. And I also have a little stack here of miscellaneous stuff. There's a couple Blu-rays, there's a DVD box set, a multi-pack, and then a CD I'll talk a little bit about. I'll actually go through this stuff first, and then we'll jump into the VHS. But joining me as always are the lovely ladies, Miss Hannah, front and center, and Miss Heidi in the back. And it's another chill mode day, so stick around and let's find out what I picked up over the past couple weeks, month. Hey, what's up guys? I just finished recording a video and I wanted to tack this on to the beginning because I gave a shout out at the very end of this video, but I don't know how many people will watch all the way through, and I definitely want to give a shout out to a fellow YouTuber, a good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. His name is Dustin. He goes by Billy Pop here on YouTube. He has been doing outstanding movie reviews. I can't say enough good things about what he's doing. He's really come a long way with his videos. He's a longtime friend of mine. He's actually one of the few people out here in YouTube that I would actually like to meet in person someday. He's my Canadian buddy, my neighbor to the north. He actually designed those outros that I use in my videos. He's the one that did that for me out of the kindness of his heart. So, longtime friend. I really want to suggest his channel to you. I'm going to leave that link down below to go over there and show a little support, be supportive with thumbs up and comments, and just view. Everybody would like more subscribers and more views. I know I would. I'm going to leave his link, and maybe you can go do that for me. And I'm sure once you're over there, you'll thank me because you're going to enjoy his reviews as much as I do. So check the link down below for Billy Pop. His name is Dustin. If you want to tell him Toddy Walnut sent you, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Just make sure that you go over there and show a little support to him. I would like to see his channel succeed and a little more fun with more viewers. All right, so here's the video. Enjoy it. Okay, so as I was saying, we'll go through this little miscellaneous pile first, and we'll get this out of the way before we jump into the VHS. So the first title here is a CD compilation of a morning program on the radio that I've been listening to since 1991, and that is the Bob and Brian Show on 102.9 The Hog in Milwaukee. I started listening to them in 1991 when I got my driver's license and I can pick my own radio station, although they have been on the radio since '89, so the first 2 years that they were on, I didn't get a chance to really listen to them at all. But these guys have been going strong for many years. It's a great radio program. It's a miscellaneous. They talk about current events, politics, sports. Everything's kind of jammed in together. There's a couple of call-in game shows. You can win money and stuff like that. So the characters are, this is Bob Madden and Brian Nelson, and that's Bob and Brian. This is their producer, Eric Jensen. They call him E-Rock. And this is Carrie Went. She's kind of like she used to do weather, but she's a big part of the program. I'm not sure who this guy is here. But this is Mustache Fights, and it's kind of like I was saying, it's a compilation CD of kind of like their greatest hits or their greatest bits that they've had over the past year. And then they released these CDs. I think it was about $15, and the proceeds for the sales of these go to the Milwaukee Area Childhood Cancer Institute and also the Hunger Task Force, and they feed the hungry in Milwaukee, in southeast Wisconsin. So it's a very good cause. You know, they're helping with childhood cancer, which I think is huge. If I had a lot of money to donate, that's what I would donate to, the Childhood Cancer Foundation. And also the Hunger Task Force, which is very, very important. There's a lot of homelessness, a lot of hungry people out there. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to help them out when you can. So, haven't listened to this yet, but I'm pretty sure I've heard just about all these bits before over the past year. So that is called Mustache Fights. And I have every CD that they've ever released over the years. So I'm going to keep buying these every year. The next one was a little bit pricey. This was one that I picked up on eBay because it's out of print. And this is a Scream Factory double feature called The Curse and Curse 2: The Bite. And I don't remember if I've seen these movies before. I read the synopsis on the back and it didn't ring a bell. I see that these are going for, on eBay, this was not sealed. This was used in beautiful condition. It's like mint. And I paid about half price of what the sealed copies are going for, and I think those are like anywhere from $80 to $100 sealed. I think I got this for about $45 shipped. So it is expensive, but considering the fact that it could be a lot worse, I'm pretty happy with that price. And I'm going to try to get these all eventually. I don't think I'm going to, though, because the Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 is like over $100, and there's no way I can justify myself paying that much for a Blu-ray. Even if it's the last one I need, I'm not going to pay that much. So I will stay vigilant. I'll keep my eyes peeled, and I always do a lot of research, and I always do a lot of checking. I check multiple times daily on multiple websites, and I'll get it eventually for the right price. But I thought $45 for this was a good price, and I'm probably going to pop these in tonight. There's a chance I did see the first one, but part 2 does not ring a bell at all. So part 1, it sounds like it's more like a zombie, or not zombie, alien. I could be wrong about that too. A blue meteor plunges through the midnight sky and lands on the property of a dairy farmer. And I think it's like a zombie type, or I keep saying zombie, it's an alien type movie. But part 2 is about a guy who gets bit by a snake. And he kind of, I guess there's some kind of like a disease going around, and people are catching this mass disease. And it didn't sound familiar to me, but I'm glad to have that in the collection. There's still quite a few more that I'm missing from the double feature from Scream Factory. Picked this up at a thrift shop. Haven't seen it yet. It's been out for a few years now. And this is the true story of Whitey Bulger, who was a big mafioso on the East Coast in Boston back in the 70s, 80s. He was recently murdered in prison not too long ago, a few years back now, a couple years back. But I do love true crime. I love mafia history. I love true stories, and I love Johnny Depp. So that's everything together in one movie. So looking forward to checking this out. This was only a few bucks, and you get a Blu-ray and a DVD combo. So I thought it was a good buy. I will definitely add it to my true crime mafia movie collection. Glad to have that. I think it was my last update video, or a couple update videos ago, I picked up Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6 box set. And that's the only one I have so far. Well, until now, because I picked up Season 1. So now I have Season 1 and Season 6. And if you have OCD like I do, it's kind of weird to buy them in that order. But when you find them for such a cheap price like these are in thrift shops, it doesn't hurt to buy them out of order. And I can always wait to sit and watch these. But this will be a good start because it is now season 1, Star Trek. This was only $5 for the first season. I don't know if you can see that little sticker on the side. It's a white sticker and it kind of washes out with that flash on my camera, but it says $4.99. You can't see it, but you have to trust me on that. But it comes in these fat packs. I looked at all the discs and they're all like mirrors. They're perfect condition. Whoever had this took really good care of it. I mean, there's no dust, there's no smoke smell, anything like that, which is always a plus. And I've always wanted to get into some of these Star Trek shows, although I've seen the first one, the original Star Trek from the 60s. I've seen every episode many times. I have seen other Star Trek shows, bits and pieces of them and out of order, but I've never really sat down and watched them in any order. And again, I'm not sure if you need to watch these in any particular order. I'm not sure if there's any storyline that carries over, because the original Star Trek was kind of like a one-off every time. Every once in a while they'd have a to be continued, so you'd have to watch the first one of that before you can kind of get into the second one. But for the most part, I think these are just kind of isolated stories per show, but I could be wrong about that. But this show came out in 1987, so it was a good 20 years after the original show. But I am looking forward to adding to that collection and watching them all eventually at some point. And the last DVD, before we get into the VHS, this is called the Midnight Horror Road Trip to Hell collection. And I do have a lot of these different type of kind of multi-packs. I have a lot. I have like a Rubbermaid tote full of just like, you know, these type of multi-pack movies. And this is one I never had. I don't remember even seeing this available. So it comes with the movie The Craving, Sheltered, Feeding Grounds, and Hell's Highway. And this is an Echo Bridge DVD. And it says, just really briefly, it says that The Craving is 99 minutes, not rated. I'm trying to see what year these came out, but it doesn't really have that information handy, and I don't feel like dragging this out much longer than it already is going to be. Sheltered is 84 minutes, not rated. Hell's Highway, 70 minutes, rated R. And Feeding Grounds, 82 minutes, not rated. Looks like this little 4-pack was released in 2010. So the movies obviously are at least that old or older. And it comes on a flipper disc, which I'm not a big fan of, but a lot of these multi-packs are flipper discs, and it's in very good condition. It was not a former rental. So that is the Midnight Horror Road Trip to Hell collection. So I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to get into this little stack here on the left. And then we'll just go from there, and then I'll go through all the Dean Martin stuff, and then we'll stop it. I got some blank tapes I'll show you guys. I have plans for these blank tapes, and then I'll show the Disney stuff last. All right, so like I was saying, I've been kind of on a VHS kick lately, and it's almost like I feel like I'm saving these from, you know, a lot of these were in really good condition. I mean, the corners are still razor sharp. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator, classic 80s action, sci-fi, a little bit of horror elements to it, I guess. Only bad thing here is you can see somebody wrote in permanent marker their name Ben. But other than that, I put all these in plastic, and it makes it look even nicer, I think, to me. So I was glad to add these to the collection. I have noticed lately that a lot of the VHS tapes that I was getting for like a quarter up to $2 for some of the Disney stuff, prices are going up, at least in my local area. What once was a quarter, now these are going for $1 a piece. And I think more and more people are kind of getting that retro feel. You know, they're kind of getting that feeling of nostalgia, and they want to go out and they want to pick up a lot of these tapes that they had when they were younger or when they were kids or whatever, some of their favorite movies, or just to collect like I'm doing. A lot of the prices are going up, so if you guys are interested in picking up any VHS, I would check out your thrift shops now. You might be able to get them cheaper because I think they're going to keep going up a little bit. I think these are eventually going to become collector's prices, just like the vinyl, the music vinyl records. We can hear a dog barking outside, so there's going to be a little bit of the silver one. She's very, very protective. She's kind of like the house protector. She brought that upon herself to be that. So anytime she hears a little noise outside, she wants to patrol the house, barking and sniffing and looking around out the windows. So she wants to be the security guard of the house. And this one here, she just wants to be a cuddler. She's kind of low key, chill. She just wants to lay on somebody's lap. And this one here, she wants to run around looking what's going on. So anyway, let's continue. I picked up Godzilla, and a lot of people will say this is the bad Godzilla. This is the one with Matthew Broderick, and I would have to admit it's not as good as some of the other Godzillas, but I still enjoy it. It's still a good movie to me, and it was in really good condition, so I picked it up, slapped it in plastic, and it looks even better. It almost looks like it's new. It has a, you may not be able to tell, it's kind of have an embossed cover, like around that eye. Just some embossing going on there. It's pretty cool. And then here's a childhood favorite of mine, Charlotte's Web. Very, very touching story, especially when you're a kid watching this. It's a very, very good story. Even for an adult, it's fun to watch this. But everybody knows the story of Charlotte's Web. It's a cartoon from 1972 from Hanna-Barbera about a spider who can spell and communicate with the other farm animals in her web. Excellent movie. So that is the end of that little pile. I have a couple more little piles here we'll just pull from. This one's called The Abyss. This is from James Cameron, I believe 1989. It's not a horror movie, but it's a sci-fi drama thriller, probably a better way to put it. It has excellent special effects for its time. I don't know if you can see that. You know, it's been a very long time since I've seen this movie, but I remember really liking this movie, and I'm going to have to pick this up again on, probably if it's on 4K, I bet you this movie would look beautiful. But Ed Harris is in it, and he plays he's a scientist, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then his ex-wife is played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. And Michael Biehn is also in here. Michael Biehn works for the military. And they're trying to recover a U.S. sub that was sank in the ocean. And it has a lot of nuclear weaponry on that sub. And the U.S. military and scientists want to get down to that sub and recover it before the Russians. Always the Russians, right? Especially in the 80s. They want to get it before the Russians do. And when they get down to the sub, they find it, and a lot of really weird things happen. And the scientists and military think it is the Russians at first, but there's some really... I'm not going to give it away. I do need to rewatch this because it's been a long time, and I may be a little rusty about my synopsis here, but there's well, I'll just leave it at that in case you haven't seen it. But there's some really strange goings on under the sea, and you have to watch it to find out what it is. Very glad to pick that up. It's in really good shape, so I wanted to grab that. It looks like it was only watched like maybe once. It even has that little security tape. It looks like they just sliced it, maybe watched it once, put it back in the box, and that's it. I mean, it's beautiful. Next one is one of my favorite westerns of all time. This is a great movie. It's based on historical events. The shootout at the OK Corral with the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday. And this is a great movie. I could never watch this enough. It's excellent. Val Kilmer's character of Doc Holliday is one of the best characters in cinema history, in my opinion. Not only that, but Kurt Russell was really good too. If it wasn't for Doc Holliday stealing the show, Kurt Russell would have easily been the best character in this show. But there's so many good one-liners in this movie. Excellent ending. There's a part in this movie, I mean, I've probably seen this movie 20 times or more. And there's one part in this movie that makes me want to jump through the TV and just choke. Powers Booth plays, I can't remember the character's name that he plays. One of the bad guys, air quote bad guys. And it was after one of the Earp brothers gets shot and killed. He makes a comment, and it's like, oh, I can't believe you just said that. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. The next one is called Lost in Space, and again, this movie was not a great movie, but it was still fun. It was nowhere near what the original series was, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I do love sci-fi type movies like this. I thought this was pretty good, and it's an old blockbuster movie. You can see that it was previewed for $6.99. It still has the plastic on the outside, although it was sliced on the bottom, so you can still slide the tape out and watch it. So all of those stickers that are on there, it looks like there was a couple, or maybe not. But that sticker is actually on top of cellophane, so it's not going to hurt the cardboard by peeling it off. I'm just going to leave it on there, though. And it has a Blockbuster price tag on the back from February 15th of 1999. That's before my first child was born, and she's in her 20s now, so very, very cool, though. Glad to have that. And you can see at the top it's embossed. Maybe you can't, but it is embossed, and it has kind of like a silver gold foil effect on the lettering. Very, very cool. Now I picked up some of the original Star Trek, or Star Wars movies rather, but these are all that they had there. They don't have all of them, so I'll have to be on the lookout. But that's part of the fun of thrift shopping. You're not going to get everything on one trip, so it's kind of a hobby where you just kind of go and see and hope you get lucky each time you go. So these are going to be in no particular order, but this is Return of the Jedi, the special edition widescreen THS, digitally remastered. Beautiful cover, and these were like brand new too, so whoever had these probably only watched it once, or it was somebody who really, really took care of their stuff. When I saw how good these were in good condition, I had to grab these and put them in plastic just to kind of preserve them, because you may not find VHS tapes as good condition as these. I mean, it's hard to find them, especially in thrift shops, because people have handled them, kids have handled them. They got food and spilled drinks and candy and sticky fingers and who knows what else was on there. But that is Return of the Jedi. And another special edition was this is the original Star Wars. And I'm not going to call it The Last Hope, because to me the Star Wars trilogy ended after Part 3. I really don't like any of the new stuff at all, so this is not called A New Hope. To me, this is just Star Wars. But I'm missing The Empire Strikes Back for this particular special edition trilogy, so I'll have to be on the lookout for that. But again, this was in really, really good condition. I mean, everything is completely crisp. You can see that the big dog left. She's kind of pacing around the house, looking out the windows and stuff. Usually she'll fire back a couple of barks, but I think she's being pretty good because she knows I'm recording, I think. And I have a couple of more Return of the Jedi here. It's obviously it's the same movie, it's just different packaging. And I thought this looked really good. And again, these are all in perfect condition. So I'm very happy to save those. Here's another Return of the Jedi they have found. These were all at the same store, by the way. And there, of course, is Yoda. I'm not sure what my favorite of the original trilogy is. I think I might have to go with The Empire Strikes Back, which is right here. Though I do love Return of the Jedi, though. That is beautiful right there. That would make for a great poster. And that goes with this one. So I'm missing the original Star Wars in this trilogy. So these two are the same type of artwork. And I only have Return of the Jedi for this type of packaging. Just to kind of give a quick little recap. I know these might be a little confusing, but for this one, I'm missing the Empire Strikes Back for this little trilogy. So I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to get into the Dean Martin roasts. Okay, so Hannah is done patrolling the house. Apparently everything looks good. All is clear here at the Walnuts compound. All is good. So we can all get back to the video here. They're very good dogs. I have no complaints whatsoever. They're very, very good dogs. All right, so getting into the Greg Garrison presents the Dean Martin Celebrity Roasts. These were great. A lot of fun. These shows were great. I'm sure many of you have seen these going back to the VHS days, or even maybe some of you remember these when they were aired on TV. It was a little bit before my time, but I definitely love all of the different characters that were involved in these roasts or that were being roasted. It was a really good time. I'm talking about the era. I wish I could have grown up in that era. I would have loved to watch these guys on TV, Bob Hope, Dean Martin, Sinatra, Johnny Carson, you know, all that. It just seemed like it was such a different time back then. And I would trade today for yesterday in a heartbeat. I think today kind of sucks. But anyway, let's get into... I have a lot of these on DVD, most of these. I think I have almost all of these on DVD. And eventually I'll pull that out and show it. I think I have showed it before in a video. But you can watch a lot of these for free here on YouTube, actually, too. So if any of these strike your fancy, if you come across any names, like there's a Muhammad Ali roast, and maybe that jumps out at you. I'm sure if you type it in, Dean Martin roast Muhammad Ali, you can probably watch it here for free on YouTube. I had a lot of these, too, on VHS. Back in the day, there was a television program that was selling these, and you can buy these monthly. And I think they were like $20 a month. They would send you one a month. It was kind of like the Disney Movie Club back then. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And if you ordered from them, you had to sign a contract with them that you would pay for like a year's worth of movies 1 month at a time. And if you did that, they gave you free the Frank Sinatra roast, which was, you know, the most popular one apparently. So I did have these at one time, and I ended up giving them away. I wish I didn't. But now I picked these all up at really good prices. So let's get into some of the people who were getting roasted. And Dean Martin was always drunk out of his mind. There's no way you can tell me that he was faking it. There's no way. People say, oh, it was just apple juice and he never drank. I do not buy that one bit. But anyway, this was Kirk Douglas and Suzanne Summers. And it's approximately 1 hour, 20 minutes. So it's about an hour each, I think, for roasts. This came out in 2001, it says. I was thinking it was more like the 90s. But I could be wrong about that. Apparently I am. But I'm pretty sure I had these way before 2000. So the next one was Frank Sinatra. This one was still sealed. I still put it in plastic anyway. But this was the freebie that they would give you to kind of hook you into buying these. But Frank, he was a really good trooper. I have read a lot about Sinatra. I have seen a lot of documentaries, read a lot about him. He's a very fascinating man. If I can go back in time and meet any person other than my own family, I would probably want to meet Sinatra, Red Fox, Vince Lombardi. We'll leave it at that. I can go on and on, but Sinatra would definitely be near the top of the list of people I would go back. But I also heard that he had a very bad temper, and he didn't like a lot of people kind of giving him the business, so to speak, you know, kind of making fun of him and talking about him. So from what I hear, he had to approve of the jokes that were made about him before he would come out and do this show. And if you watch him during the show, you can tell he was a little bit lit up too. He was drinking some alcohol. And he was very comfortable with the jokes that they made. They didn't really roast him too bad. But that was his out. He didn't want to be roasted too bad, or he had a pretty bad temper. Next one is probably one of the best ones. These two men were incredible, George Burns and Jack Benny. And these two guys were best friends for many, many years, decades. And they're two legends, comedic legends. This is Don Rickles and Angie Dickinson. And of course, Don Rickles was always one of the best roasters. He was not afraid to hit you below the belt, that's for sure. And Angie Dickinson was just always a hottie. She was another one that had a pretty bad temper, and she also had to approve of all of the jokes that were going to be made about her before she would do the show. This one I accidentally picked up two of, and this is the Man of the Hour, Dean Martin. So this is the episode where Dean Martin gets roasted. And I believe the main roaster was Rickles in these. This one here on the left, the one I'm holding, is a little more beat up. And this one was like brand new. So I could always trade this one or just keep it. It doesn't matter. For what I paid for it, it doesn't matter if I just keep it. But yeah, Dean Martin, you can see, if you've watched any of these, you can see in his face that he was drunk. There's no way that you can pretend to have those big bags and those big rosy cheeks and slurring your words. I mean, even Foster Brooks couldn't fake it that bad. And Foster Brooks was known for being a fake drunk. But there were so many great celebrities, and this one is Betty White and Ted Knight, who, by the way, Betty White is going to be turning 100 years old next month, in a couple weeks, actually. She will be turning 100 years old in January of 2022. So God bless you, Betty White. I hope you live another 100 years. She's America's sweetheart. And Ted Knight, he was in just about everything in the 80s, 70s. Jimmy Stewart. They don't make guys like Jimmy Stewart anymore. He was a war hero and a golden age movie star, one of the best to ever do it. Then we have Lucille Ball and Danny Thomas, a couple more legends, obviously. These are all going to be golden age legends. And these are always fun to watch, too. There was a lot of laughter. Like I said, it was a different time back then. I wish I could go back. I was a child of the 70s. I was born in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s, so. But I would love to go back to the 60s if I could. But that would mean I'd be older than I am now, and I don't want to be that either. So this one is Zsa Zsa Gabor and Truman Capote. Then we have Joan Collins and Joe Namath. And Joe Namath was quite the ladies' man, from what I hear back then. Of course, he was an NFL quarterback for the New York Jets, and they won Super Bowl III, I believe, because my Green Bay Packers won Super Bowl I and Super Bowl II, and the Jets, I believe, won Super Bowl III. But yeah, he was a ladies' man. He's still with us, and he's another fascinating guy. I would like to talk to him. He's the kind of guy I would like to sit down, and if I drank, I'd have a couple beers with him. Maybe a cigar and a couple beers and just shoot the breeze with him. Here's one that's great. This is Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon, of course, from The Tonight Show. Then we have Muhammad Ali and Milwaukee's own Hank Aaron, the home run king. I still consider him the home run king because Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, all those guys did steroids and had corked bats. Hank Aaron did it the original way, the athletic way, and he's an old Milwaukee Brave. And he finished his career here in Milwaukee as a Milwaukee Brewer, and he recently passed away last year, and he was a legend, and he will always live on. And of course, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, the greatest maybe to ever do it. He's not my favorite fighter of all time, but he may very well be the very best fighter of all time. I'm a Mike Tyson fan, but I mean, there's no denying that Muhammad Ali was great. They call him the greatest, and I can't really find a way to argue that. Then we have Jack Klugman and Rowan and Martin. Rowan and Martin, of course, were from the very popular comedy show called Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. And Jack Klugman was in many things, but he was probably best known for The Odd Couple. He played Felix Unger, I believe, right? It doesn't say on the back, but yeah, that was great. It was a great show. Another excellent one. This is Carol O'Connor and Red Fox. Red Fox is my favorite comedian of all time. That doesn't mean that he's the greatest of all time. He's just my favorite of all time, because there's been so many great comedians over the years. I really do love Red Fox. I would love to go back in time and hang out with him and just talk to him, hang out with him for a day, ask him a bunch of questions. He was great. And Carol O'Connor. These guys were both kind of controversial for their time, because Red Fox was in Sanford and Son, and there was it was definitely politically incorrect. Same thing with All in a Family with Carol O'Connor. He played Archie Bunker, and there was a lot of different racism and things like that, but it was all fun back then. You know, I'm not saying racism is fun. I'm just saying that these shows were kind of poking fun at that, and they did a lot of things then that you could never do now. So like I said, I'd like to go back in time. Here's another Sinatra. I didn't realize I had two of these. This one's open. So I have two Sinatra and two Dean Martin. We don't have to talk about that anymore because we already went through that. We have Bob Hope and Ronald Reagan. Two more classy gentlemen. Jackie Gleason and Sammy Davis Jr. Hold on, I gotta itch right under my nose. I like Sammy Davis Jr. He was a funny character. He was a pretty good musician. He wasn't great, but he was flashy. He had a good attitude. You know, he was always smiling and kind of a positive, upbeat person. I can see why people were drawn to him just because of his personality. Michael Landon, another giant. He was great. Little House on the Prairie is one of the best shows ever made, in my opinion. Michael Landon starred in all of them. He wrote quite a few of them and directed some of them. And he was just, it was tragic when he passed away I think it was in the late 80s. He died, I believe he was in his 50s when he died. Some type of cancer. Can't remember if it was pancreatic cancer or something, but it was, that was devastating seeing that, because I grew up watching the Ingalls Family, and just to see an actor like that taken in his 50s, he still had a lot of time left on Earth, you know, a lot of ideas. Who knows what else he could have done if he would have lived another 20, 30 years. He was only in his 50s. He could have lived to 80s, you know. He may have achieved so much more than he already did in his life. So I'm going to pause it here, and we'll talk about this last little stack. I'll show you guys some of the blank VHS that I picked up and some of the Disney stuff that I picked up. All right, so jumping into these blank tapes, I will pick these up if I see them in thrift shops, if they are still sealed. They have to be new and sealed, and I'll pick them up, as long as they're $1 or less a piece. And the reason I'm buying these is because I'm going to have like a little end cap. Eventually, when I have everything displayed on shelves, I'm going to have a little end cap of these blank tapes just for kind of display, you know, just like they would have it back in the day at like Kmart or Shopko, different stores like that, some of the electronic stores that used to sell these tapes. And I'm just going to have kind of like a little end display piece for some of these blank tapes. So I picked up these three. I think these were $1 a piece. These are kind of beat up a little bit. I mean, they're not beat up, they're in good shape, but the cellophane didn't, it looks kind of dusty almost. But back in the day, we used to have HBO, my brother and I, and we would buy tapes like this. And if you guys remember these little modes that you can put your VCR in to record. So if you put your VCR on SP mode, slow play, you could get 120 minutes out of this tape. And what you recorded from the TV in SP mode would come out very clean and crisp, or as clean and crisp as it would be on VHS. If you went to LP, you could get up to 240 minutes on this tape, which means you can record, you know, maybe 3 movies instead of 1, but the quality wouldn't be as good. And you could even go to EP mode, which is extended play, I believe. So I think this was slow play, long play, and extended play, and you can get up to 360 minutes if you did the EP. And oftentimes, my brother and I would put 360. We'd try to get as many movies as we could on this, and of course, the quality wasn't as good, but we didn't care. You know, back then we didn't care. We just wanted to get as many movies as we could on these tapes. And then sometimes, eventually, if it was a movie that we really, really liked and we wanted it to be clean, like The Goonies was one that we had, then we would put it on slow mode, or slow play, I think it was called. I could be wrong about what those stood for. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I thought that's what it was: slow play, long play, extended play. But yeah, that's... So I picked up 3 of the same exact tape. They're still sealed. I'm going to try to take like a little pledge or something and just take like a moist towel and just kind of try to clean these up. These are only going to be for display purposes, so I'm never going to open these and use them. Let me put these over here. And then I got one of the Maxell 6-hour tape, ideal for hi-fi VCRs. I got this at a St. Vincent de Paul in Milwaukee for $1.98, which is probably a little more than I should have spent for this. But these are very hard to find now in the wild, these sealed tapes. I'm sure you could probably find these on eBay, and you could probably get these for pretty cheap. But if I see these out in the wild, I'll grab them, add them to the collection. And then I got 2 of these Maxell GX Silver high quality. So again, you can see the little display bars. If you have it in SP mode, 2 hours, LP mode, 4 hours, and extended play, 6 hours. So you can get 3 movies on here pretty easily if you wanted to sacrifice a little quality. All right, let me pause it again and we'll get into the last segment of the video. All right, so I've been making out like a bandit at thrift shops on these Disney movies, and I've noticed I've been going quite a bit. I've been going at least once a week for since summer, pretty much, and we're now right in the throes of winter. So a lot of the stuff has been picked over by mostly me, but like I said earlier in this video, I think more and more people are getting keen to the fact of repurchasing a lot of these VHS. So I may have a lot of competition now, so I'll grab a lot of these when I can. The only ones I'm trying to find now, though, are ones I don't have already, or I will upgrade if I find a VHS tape still sealed, and I have quite a few of those in this video. So I will if I find them still sealed out in the wild at a thrift shop, I will buy that and upgrade the one that's in my collection already, take the other one out and either sell it, trade it, or I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet. I haven't really thought about it. But let's get into, I got this one just today. These are getting harder to find. These are the white clamshell cases. These are the original pressings, or the original recordings, I should say. And this is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This is one that I needed. It came in great condition. It still has a little sticker on it. Actually, oh no, that's not. It's printed on the box. It looks like a little sticker. This is a sticker, and it's a former rental. I'll probably pull that off just because it doesn't look good. Although I don't mind rental stickers on a lot of these tapes. That one just doesn't look good. So I'll gently remove that one. But you can see here that it has the $1 rewind fee. And of course, whoever had it last rewound it, because if the spool of tape is on the left, that means it's ready to go. It's fully rewound. If you see the spool on the right, that means whoever had it last was a bastard and they didn't rewind it, and they probably got charged $1, and now you got to take it home and rewind it. So that is probably my find of the past month on VHS. That's pretty cool. I also picked up the Three Caballeros. This is the first pressing. I have this movie already, but this is a different edition of it. This was the very first pressing of this movie. It comes in a thicker box. It has different animation on the front. This is an older tape, and I was very glad to find this out in the wild. This one's hard to find. Just because it's hard to find now doesn't mean it's rare. I don't want anybody to mistake that for and say, hey, you said it was hard to find, so it's got to be rare. I mean, just because a lot of these tapes are kind of rare doesn't mean that they're going to be very expensive. So, although I did notice at, I'm not going to mention where, but there's a thrift shop in my city where I found a couple of those, the Little Mermaid, the band cover, and I found it at 2 different times I went there. I found it and I got it for $0.25, and they were both in mint condition. And it has the recalled or the band cover, and like I said, I bought 2 of them for $0.25 each. I noticed that they had it there now for $10. They have like this little glass display case in the front of the store where they have kind of their higher end items. They have some jewelry up there. I noticed they had a couple of PlayStation 4 games up there and stuff like that they don't want people stealing. They put in this little glass case, and I took a peek up there, and they had a Little Mermaid band VHS cover for $10, and I left it there. I'm not going to pay that much for it. I picked up Mighty Joe Young. I did not have this one yet, so I was glad to pick this up for the live action Disney movie collection. I also picked up Herbie Goes Bananas. I didn't have this on VHS. I do have it on DVD and Blu-ray, but I didn't have it on VHS, so I'm glad to add that to the collection as well. That's from the Love Bug collection. I also picked up Herbie Rides Again. I picked up the Shaggy Dog. I picked up Rascal, and I don't remember ever owning this before. I used to have a huge VHS collection with Disney. I think I had just about every title at one time. Other than the white clamshell cases, I had most of the newer stuff. And I don't remember ever owning this one. So I was glad to find this out in the wild and snatched it up and added it to the collection. So I also, like I was saying earlier, I picked up a bunch of sealed copies. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies that are sealed. All of these movies I had already, but these will now be upgrades to the ones that I had. I'm going to take the other ones out and put these in the collection. These are sealed. So this is Tarzan and Jane. $2 is a lot for a VHS for Disney, but if I find them sealed, I don't think $2 is that much to spend. I think that's a pretty fair price. I got Atlantis, The Lost Empire, still sealed. Has the little stickers on there. I really like that. Brother Bear. Still here. It got really quiet. The furnace just kicked off, and now it seems like the house is really, really quiet. Got the Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Don't know why, but that little sticker is upside down. It says new, magical, and enchanting. Cinderella 2. You have to be at the right place at the right time to find these. I found all of these sealed movies in one trip, and I'm sure they would have been gone in a matter of minutes. I just got lucky. It's all about you gotta be repetitive. You gotta keep going to these places over and over, and there's gonna be a lot of times when you strike out, you swing and miss, and you don't get anything. Then there's gonna be times when you find a jackpot. Somebody donated a bunch of stuff that was just put out when you just happened to be there, and you grabbed it and you take it home now for your collection. Here's Treasure Planet. I don't know what sticker that's from, but at one point it was $15.48. And I guess that was the last sealed one. I also picked up, this one's not sealed, but it does still have the Disney Store sticker on it. This is Alice in Wonderland, the Gold Collection, which I did not have before. I had the other Alice in Wonderland, so this will go in with that one, because this is an edition of the same movie. I just didn't have this cover. Somebody watched about half of it or so, not quite half. But I'm going to keep that little sticker on there because it says the Disney Store, $14.99. Looks pretty cool. So. And we'll get into this last little pile here, and we'll wrap it up. This one I did not have. This is called White Fang 2, Myth of the White Wolf. I love these type of movies. I think they're great. I used to watch these with my kids back in the day. These are some of my favorite live action movies, are the adventure nature type ones like this. This is a different edition of Mary Poppins that I didn't have before. This is the Gold Collection. This is one I did not have. So Dear to My Heart. If I did have this one, it was a different cover. But this is a mixture of animation and live action. And this is an older release. This was probably the first release of that movie. Here's one I'm not very familiar with called The Big Green. I think this was kind of a new age Disney live action movie. It looks like they're maybe kind of trying to cash in on that Ladybugs movie. The Ladybugs soccer movie comedy, it looks like. I'm not sure. But I didn't have it, so I grabbed it. This one I did not have either. The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. Dennis Quaid. And I had the old school The Parent Trap. I thought I didn't have this one, but come to find out I did already have this one, so now this is a double. But this one is actually in better shape than the one I have already, so this one will be taking its place. And then the last movie is not a Disney movie at all, but it's a Christmas movie called Annabelle's Wish, and this is kind of an underrated Christmas movie. It tugs at your heartstrings. I've seen this movie. It's probably 20 years old by now or more, maybe 25 actually. 1997 it came out. Almost 25 years. But it's about a cow who all she wants to, her name is Annabelle, and all she wants to do is be a reindeer and help Santa with his sleigh on Christmas. That's all she wants to do. Unfortunately, she can't because she's a cow. And as years goes on, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but she gets sick in the movie, and she passes away. It's a tearjerker. And then when she comes, I laugh because it really did get to me. These type of movies do get to me. And when she kind of comes back in the afterlife, I guess. She's able to become a magical flying helper for Santa. So if you guys haven't seen this one, I strongly recommend checking it out. It's very, very good. The animation's good. The story is excellent. It's really, really good. And before I kick off, before I end the video, I want to give a shout out to a dear friend of mine. I'm going to probably make a second clip of this exact statement here and put it in the beginning of the video, because I don't know how many people will watch this video till the end. But my good friend, Billy Pop, I want to give him a shout out, and I'm going to share his channel link down below. He's a very good friend of mine. He's one of the few people in YouTube land that I would like to meet in person someday. He's a very good, dear friend of mine. He actually designed my outro, the little outro that I have with the toddy walnuts and the music playing, and then he also did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, which I throw in there once in a while. But he made those for me. Anyway, he does reviews on his channel, and he's trying to build a bigger fan base. He wants more viewers, and I don't blame him. I think everybody wants more viewers. I want more viewers. But I want to direct you guys to his channel so you can go check him out. Check out his excellent reviews. I really like what he's doing. He's really come a long way since he started recording videos. He's been doing this for a little while now. But his channel is really, really good, and I think more people need to see it. And I think the more people that see his channel, the more people that will be willing to go and subscribe and show him support with thumbs up and comments, and just help the guy out, help him grow. Be supportive. I'm going to leave his link down below, and please go check him out. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, as always. You have a great new year. I hope everybody has a spectacular 2022. We all deserve it. These last couple of years have been pretty bad, to say the least. But I want nothing but the best for you guys in 2022. So thank you for watching. Take care. And for Miss Hannah and Miss Heidi, I'm your boy Toddy Walnuts. And I will see you next year.